know there's a town hall that and I are going to be attending here real soon. But there's a little mini rally over there. But we're actually going to head inside the library here. I'm waiting for KDOT to come. But the worst mayor Aurora's ever had is holding a town hall meeting. Apparently, name is Mike Kaufman. Of course, the cops are there because he's afraid little punk. Um, I have no idea where KDOT is. He should be around here somewhere. Um, it's like an anti-police rally, I guess. Power to the people. I don't know. I was trying to check it out. There's not very many people there, but I think they might have caught wind that Kaufman was here, and so we are we're gonna cover it. Of course, we're gonna cover it. Kind of fell into my lap. I didn't think I was gonna. I was maybe planning on doing a town hall. Teresa, welcome. Keeper, welcome. Nice to have you guys here. Um, just waiting for the mighty KDOT. He said he saw me, but I don't see him anywhere. Um, I'll just wait for him because I don't know. There's a lot of weirdness going on here today. Cops have been circling. At least two cops have circled. One of them pulled up right behind my vehicle, the Shark. And it's just a lot of weirdness. Here's KDOT. I really don't know why they're rallying over there, but there's the mighty KDOT. Oh boy, oh boy. What do we walk into here, KDOT? We're live, bro.
What's up?
What's up, man?
Hey, everybody. What's going on?
I don't know, man.
So
it's just crazy. Okay, so there was
rally for what?
I have no idea. They were talking about power to the people and talking about policing and stuff like that.
Or is this for Kylan? Or?
I have no idea, bro. But I think our business is in there, right? We got to get in there to get him.
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah, this is the main mission here. If they're still here after we get out, then maybe we'll head. I don't know, KDOT. You know the reasons. I'm really leery. Dad Ant, you used to work in that building, Dad Ant? Wow. All right. Glad y'all are here. I'm just gonna warn everybody. There's gonna be kids in here. I'm gonna try not to get them in, but hey, they're in public. I can't worry about that. This is a town hall with the worst mayor Aurora's ever seen, Mike Kaufman. And, well, you guys are about ready to see. Right, KDOT?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're about ready to see. It's going to be interesting. Let's just put it that way. So.
And I got to set mine alive.
And there is a cop here. It's a vehicle 30515. You want to set yours before we go in?
That's probably another cop in front of you.
Yeah, probably undercover or off duty. So we're gonna go on in. Matthew, welcome. Keeper, welcome. Educate. Man, Keeper. Ellie, thank you for being here. Some weirdness, JB. You just want to see KDOT's butt. Yeah, oh, that's for the ladies, man, not for me. KDOT.
Let's see. What's with this? Wi-Fi.
Yeah, Dad Ant. DOS, welcome. Dos, whatever.
Let's go.
Let's take a peek and see what's going on in here.
I don't.
Ooh, immigration round table.
Yeah, right here.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Oh. 2 to 6 is supposed to be open. Are they locked? They locked the town hall?
Let me see.
Oh boy. Oh no, that's that room, KDOT. It's this room right here. They locked it.
public.
Yeah, but then it says no walk-in use allowed. Oh, I see what they mean by that. Okay, we should be able to get in there, but they're. Is that door open?
No.
What?
Check the other one too.
Both of them?
Yeah.
What the hell? They got a
Let's
closed.
ask the librarian.
Okay, yeah. The Sunrise Dawn welcome. I know my mods will give everybody I missed a very warm welcome. This is really weird, y'all. Normally, should be able to walk right in there. I think they might have got wind that we were coming. I don't know how, because I just went live just now. Oh, let me get out of the way so these people can. Huh?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll head over there with you, bud. All right, I'm gonna tilt it up, guys.
Oh, okay. Is the door open?
It's closed.
Locked.
Yeah, it's locked.
I feel loaded.
Do you? Did you eat too much?
I feel loaded.
What'd you eat? Yep, 2 to 6.
I don't have enough work.
I don't have enough credentials.
Oh, maybe there? I don't know.
Maybe.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
Thank you
it.
for
Yes, thank you.
That area that has signaled to us that they want to work with us. Denver International Airport, hotel and conference center, and those things. So we've got some great partners to work with. And the goal is also that it's large enough and it will serve more than the needs of just people for Aurora. And so the operational cost, much of the operational cost is going to be privately funded from things like the Daniels Fund is committed to it, and Shoots Foundation is committed to it, and so we'll continue to work that angle in terms of attracting private dollars for what is really a unique program, I think, in the country. And so we really want to, I really believe in the concept. I think it can work. Colorado Springs has a concept relatively close to it. I went to Houston, looked at their program in Housing First. I went to San Antonio and looked at their program, which is kind of somewhere between Housing First and Work First. And so, but I think that, but the goal, I just think that it is not, you know, taking somebody off the street who suffers from a severe addiction and other problems and simply putting them in a room and not having any requirements. I don't think it's
I guess we're just gonna have fun today, aren't
so
we?
that's where we are. November to be fully operational. What we are doing right now with it is we have the Aurora Day Resource Center right now on the City of Ancients Medical Campus. That's our current facility and then we take them over, we bus them up in the afternoon to this, so we are using the congregate shelter part for overnight. And so I think we have about 150 people that go there, stay there at night now. But the renovation is not done. And so it will not be fully operational. It will dovetail well into the program that Judge Day talked about, where you have, where somebody has some low level offenses, shoplifting, trespassing, or something like that, then they commit to, they have an agreement with the court about the things that they will do to go ahead and improve it. So let me start with to talk about. I think we have some major redevelopment opportunities in our state, and I think let me talk about the eastern end of Aurora first, and that the Colorado Community College system has not been the best partner for the city. So when the base closed, when Lowry Air Force Base closed in 1994, they gave the Aurora portion, much of the Aurora portion, 116 acres, to the Colorado Community College system with a 30-year deed restriction that it can be only used for higher education and vocational training. During that 30 years, they've not built a single building there. They've boarded up most of them, and they have repurposed some. And so I, worked with the governor to put pressure on the board for the Colorado Community College system. And so now they're moving through the process of where we can redevelop the area, and they'll sell the area. Aurora Community College system used to have some programs there. They moved all the programs off of the Aurora side. They're building a new extension of their campus, and so that'll be done this summer. So there'll be nothing from the Aurora Community College up there that's left, but it's a blighted area. I mean, it just looks awful, and it's had a negative impact on the community around. And so, if you think about opportunities of redevelopment, think about the Stanley Marketplace. So there you have, was I think around 20 acres in a manufacturing facility for aviation parts at about 140,000 square feet. And so that, that was shuttered in 2007 for a 10-year period, and somebody reimagined it as a mall with lots of restaurants and boutique shops, retail and events for families, and that has been really successful and has energized the area around it with new development and helped stabilize some of the neighborhoods close by. And so that can have, I think, and that's 20 acres, this is 116 acres, so they have a tremendous effect in terms of an economic catalyst. Stanley Marketplace, inside the Stanley Marketplace. Fitzsimmons Army Medical Center, so the building 500, the main hospital, this was closed in 1996. It was an Army post, a major regional hospital. So it closed in 1996. When it closed, there were a total of 3,000 employees, military and civilian, that worked on the base, on the post. Today, there are 32,000 employees on this CUH's Medical Center, and there are 4,500 students going to various University of Colorado medical programs, and there's a lot of research going on the campus. My goal is to move things off the campus that I don't think should be there. So in other words, we'll move our homeless services off the campus. When we have the new facility at I-70 in Chambers. And so even talking about, there's an Army Reserve facility that's kind of a legacy of when it was an active military installation. We're talking about moving that over by Buckley. And that's 20 acres that could free up for redevelopment. This is what it looks like today, the part of the campus. But again, we have a lot that we can still do. There's a new master plan for the campus to make it a very urban campus. And this is from the RTD stuff. Again, this is part of the tribal architects did the revision of the master plan. So it's part of my goal to have an urban campus still with a residential component to it. And I'll explain that in just a minute. This is a shot. This is Sand Creek, how the north part of the campus will tie into Sand Creek. This is another of the campus. So I went to Boston along with the city manager and some, and Dustin Zavanek, member of city council, and some staff, as well as some folks from the University of Colorado, to look at successful medical research campuses in the city of Boston. And so we looked at Kendall Square, which is more tied to MIT, but has a heavy component of life sciences. And we looked at Longwood Medical Area, which I thought was a better comparison to what we can do. So Longwood Medical Area is 213 acres. It has 68,000 employees on it, all engaged in healthcare, and it has 27,000 students.
Where is that?
This is in Boston, I'm sorry. Kendall Square is in Cambridge, which is next to Boston, and and then Longwood Medical Area is in Boston. And so, I mean, what they don't have is any room to grow. What we have is room to grow. And so, I went to one of the buildings, high-rise, wet labs, and talked to the individual managing the building, and he says, well, there are the people that come in, the researchers have 3 different access barriers. One for into this lab to do their research, one to teach at the medical school, and one to do clinical work in terms of seeing patients. That's essentially what we have. I mean, we have the academic component, we have there's a lot of research already being done on the campus, and we have 3 major regional hospitals on the campus. That's about the numbers for Longwood. And so I just, this is, so I think that the CU Answers campus has already been really a catalyst for economic growth. If you look at the south side of Colfax, from the campus, you can already see a lot of redevelopment. This is a project that's going up right now that is on the southeast corner of Peoria and Colfax. I think it's around 210 units. It has structured parking, so you're gonna have to see about it. It is income restricted, so we want a mix of income restricted and market rate housing.
Total bullshit. I'll talk to you guys about that later.
So next I want to talk about Colfax. And I think one of the great challenges is redeveloping, revitalizing Colfax from Peoria to all the way to Yosemite, all the way to the Denver line. So when I was growing up, Colfax was still the business center for the city, but the commercial center for the city of Aurora, as well as government. The government buildings were all there as well. I mean, it was all a retail center. You see Fox Theater, which is still there, but it began. This is the one from the other picture. I'll talk about this in a second. But it began its decline in probably the 1970s. In the early 1970s, we had I-70 built because US 40 or Colfax used to be the east-west corridor for people traveling. And then once I-70 was built, that changed. Then you had new shiny retail built to the south, like Buckingham Square, where people then stopped going downtown to shop. And then, of course, the closure of both military installations in Hill. This is a project that, well, actually, unfortunately there was a fire, but this is on the southwest corner of Colfax and Peoria. And so and they've signaled to us that they're going to rebuild. But there was a terrible fire. It was in the plywood phase of development, and it caught, and it's a pretty, in terms of risk, that's a pretty high risk in terms of fire, and a fire caught there and burned it down, including compromising the cement from the structured parking, the parkings inside, where it all had to come down. So, but this is, 405 units. This is market rate, first floor retail, structured parking, beautiful building. And so this is just on the west side. So it's kind of like a beachhead on the west side of Colfax and Peoria. So I think that those 3 things that we have right now, we've started the process to plan for the redevelopment of Colfax in that area. And then we've hired a consultant, and they'll come back next month with saying, this is the best structure you should take. Whether it's whether it's a business improvement district or whatever it is, it's the best structure you can take to move the process forward and redevelopment. I think that the dominant part of Colfax in this area needs to be multifamily residential. And to have, to make it urban, to people living there, mass transit, you have a mass transit corridor, you have, you know, people to support restaurants, to support the arts in this area. But having those eyes on the street 24 hours a day will make it safer. We'll just make it safer. I mean, it's, you know, a lot of places don't even open up in the evening because of the crime situation right now. I mean, the worst intersection probably right now, I would say it shifts around, but it's probably Havana and Colfax. In Havana and Colfax, we had Walmart pull out last summer, and we had Walgreens pull out in November. And so on the other two corners, you have a marijuana store, and then you have a convenience store that sells beer. So that it becomes sort of a predatory economic system. And so I think
Predatory economic dissonance. Did you hear that?
revitalizing this area, I think it's key to this.
You heard that?
No matter what we do, it will always be, in my view, the spiritual heart of the city is Colfax. You know, and no matter what we do, I think we try to make a city center in this area down here. You know, and I think people outside of Aurora always see it that way. And it's not good. You know, it's not good. And so we've got to, I think we can bring it back better than it ever was. And certainly that's my goal. With that, let me open to any questions you have.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Plans for Aurora to vicinity, having plans to expand north and south.
So here's what I think. I think that right now the focus is on Colfax corridor. And the reason why is because I think when you have an area as bad as Colfax, it influences north and south. And so it is so important. To start with that, I mean, you have the development of Stanley Marketplace. That is influencing south, starting to hit Montview now. But I think the focus will be right now the three, basically creating an urban corridor from I-225 all the way to Yosemite on Colfax. Then there is also a developer that I've been talking to and it's been working with the city that wants to build a fairly urban development on the east side of City Ranchers Medical Center, where it goes down in the valley. I think there used to be a mobile home park there. Wants to redevelop that in a fairly high density project to complement the campus, which will be a very urban district. One thing that I learned when I was in Boston, they said you really got to have a resident to the campus. You really need a residential component to it. We're going to have probably do a little bit residential, more, but the dominant piece has got to be research. But that if you don't have a residential piece, then it won't support the kind of restaurants and the kind of amenities that people that work there would like to have.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your presentation.
Maybe I will.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. You're next. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your presentation. This is a great outlook on your vision and your future for Aurora. Coming from being homeless myself, after being here for over 25 years, maybe I missed it, but what is the plan for the homeless veterans that in that area, as well as all of the other homeless people? What does that look like? Will there be housing for them?
Well, I think it's partnering with the VA because it's tapping into their services. So we have one of what we call problem-solving boards. We have a problem-solving board for different areas. So what you saw, what the judge briefed, is a problem-solving board for low-level offenses for people experiencing homelessness. But we also have an armed services court, veterans court right now, for people who they could be on active duty or retired, or veterans who have served the country in the military. And so what we do there in that court is we bring in the various partners like the VA, so the VA will have a representative variety of services like housing vouchers, things like that. So it's really, the VA has some pretty robust services. We want to tap into those services. Where we probably have a problem is based on the discharge of the veteran, and so that's a different set of challenges for us. But they would be in the program that we're going to have a very robust program that I'm very excited about, and then we'll partner when somebody's ready to completely graduate from the program. That we will partner with other housing providers. There is, that do. Sometimes I disagree with the program in terms of supportive housing, but they will provide as well, based on income or based on a percentage of disability. Yes.
Okay, maybe I missed it in your presentation, but what are you gonna do with that Fitzsimmons Hospital? What are you gonna do with that?
So so right now on the campus, I work with CU on the northern part of the campus. One North is actually a collaborative agreement with the city of Aurora and CU Andrews Medical Center or the University of Colorado to bring bioscience research there. So I sit as the chair of that board, and the vice chair of the board is Don Elliman, who's the chancellor of the University of Colorado at the Andrews Medical Campus. And we just hired Kelly Bro, who was the head of the Denver Metro Chamber of Commerce and ran for mayor of Denver to be the executive director for us. And so we're really working on pushing that forward. So so Building 500 right now is owned by the University of Colorado, and they use it for all their administrative servers for the campus. And so then we own the city of Aurora has a park on the southwest corner, and we have right now we have a Aurora Day Resource Center, which is for homeless services, but and it's the old gym. It's not really a good place to have. We will tear that down once the new Aurora Navigation Resource Center is up and running in November. We'll tear that down, and there's 4 acres that can be redeveloped there. I think we're talking to Children's Hospital about it.
But you're not gonna tear down the main hospital?
Oh, no, that's historic.
Oh, that's
that was built, finished construction, I think 3 days before World War II started.
Are you doing anything inside that hospital now?
Well, that's really not used as a hospital anymore. It is, when I was a kid growing up, my father was assigned there, and it was like the biggest building by far in Aurora, probably one of the biggest in the state. And I thought it was so, and now I look, and face it, it's dwarfed by all the buildings around it that are much larger. The Children's Hospital, UC Health, and the Veterans Administration.
Because there's a dental place right there on the corner before you get right there by the hospital. I used to take a guy there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, Bob.
My understanding is that an old gym that's being used now, you described, that was actually promised to District 1 Police Station. And, but I guess my concern is District 1 still going to be located on the campus, or is there?
No, so District 1, so we're divided into 3 districts for the Aurora Police Department for administrative purposes. So District 1 is everything on the west side of I-225 is District 1. District 2 is everything on the east side of I-225 from Jewel north, and District 3 is everything on the east side of I-225 from Jewel south. And so their District 1 headquarters is there. Now, where Bob, what you're getting at though, is that was deed restricted when it was given to the city by the Department of the Army for law enforcement purposes. And so we're going to have to work with them in order to free up that. So there's several avenues that we can do on that, but we clearly want to redevelop that 4 acres and take that building down, is the goal. Yeah.
And so, this is actually a two-part question. So I know you got, the city was talking about building a multi-purpose, entertainment venue or whatnot. Do you have like a specific site in mind? Or are there multiple sites that you guys are considering across the city? And then my second question is, there's been a lot of divide in the city and whatnot, and I'd love to see that divide be rebuilt. And there's constant questions about what the city really feels about diversity. So can you give me clarification on how
Sure.
you feel about diversity, since you wanna?
Sure. So I'm sorry, the first part was, the entertainment venue. So we are currently, we've engaged a consultant, we're in discussions about having a major entertainment venue in the city. No decision has been made at all. You know, obviously, if it could be done in the Colfax corridor, that'd probably be my preference. But we'll always have the Fox Theater there and some of the other venues. But that is really undecided. I mean, I know the Gaylord Hotel and Conference Center would love to work with us on entertainment venue by their grounds or in and around their grounds. And that's just one proposal. There's another proposal, I think, for kind of a baseball stadium, but a very minor. I might be some minor league, but they want us to build the stadium, and then it supposedly cause redevelopment around it. I'm really not sure about that. But there is a discussion about entertainment venue now. I mean, Aurora is the most diverse city in the state of Colorado. I think that is a great thing for us, and I know that there's challenges right now in terms of immigration issues, but I'm proud of the fact that we're the most diverse city in Colorado, and so it's always going to be a challenge to us how we accommodate that diversity. And I think one thing that in fact, the library system just started an initiative to say, and they'll be reaching out to different communities, how can we make libraries relevant to everyone in the city? And so how can you make it relevant to different immigrant groups? How can you, our newest council member is from the second largest immigrant community in Colorado, in the state, in the city of Aurora, which is the Ethiopian community. I think people in Mexico are the largest immigrant community. I think Ethiopia is second. I think El Salvador is the third, and Korea is the fourth. Yeah.
What is the city doing about the cuts to funding and staffing at the VA hospital and the insurance company?
Well, I just, in fact, going to the VA hospital, two things. So I think in the VA hospital, the issue is probably, I assume, probationary employees. I don't know what the administration, but we really don't have a say in that, other than certainly the lobby for the people that work here, whether they're federal or state or local employees. And then I think that the other one you mentioned was
Funding for research.
funding for research, and so that's kind of in discussion right now where, I mean, it was excessive before in terms of administrative costs. I think it was something like 50% could be used in administrative costs. Now they want to take it down to 15. 15% is too low for NIH funding, National Institutes of Health. And so I'm going to be in Washington with some other council members, and Angela will be there with me. And we'll be meeting with administration officials as well as members of our congressional delegation to talk about these issues.
Yeah, I actually have a question for you, just to kind of buttress the point that was made back here about diversity, and you like to talk about diversity, and you should every chance you get, because like you said, Aurora is the most diverse city in the entire state. So my question is very specifically, what are you going to do to avoid the gentrification of Aurora? Because from what I see from your presentation, it looks like that's exactly what gentrification looks like.
Very good question. So, in terms of what my vision is, how do you deal with gentrification? And that is certainly a challenge. And so I think how you deal with it is you have to have a mix. And the mix is this, that, well, first of all, one of the good things is that what we're looking at on the Colfax corridor, we'll be taking retail that is either marginally used or boarded up and replacing it with housing. And so we're not taking out housing to replace it with more expensive housing. But that it has to have a mix. And the mix has got to be what we call market rate housing and income restricted housing. And so, for instance, so I showed 2 apartment buildings up there. One was on the southeast corner of Peoria and Colfax. That is income restricted. So that is taking people that they'll say 30% or whatever of the average median income, and so you have to be within. It'd be such a percentage has to be there, and a little higher, maybe a little higher. But it is basically workforce or affordable housing by the end of the word. And so it's having that mix is very important. And then I think there's not all just doctors and nurses and things like that, and some nurses probably confuse it, that work on the HU's medical campus. So we want that mix, and so it's really important to do that. So there are federal tax credits available that we have to apply for to be able to do, to have that incentive to do that affordable housing component. Yes?
Real quick, in your last meeting, you had mentioned, about downtown, like Aurora, basically, city compared to Denver and Colorado, like, do not have a downtown. Do you have any plans for that?
No, I think that's one idea of to have that urban, to make Colfax urban, make the campus urban, make Colfax urban, and probably, I think probably that eastern end of Aurora, it will be a mixed use development, will be more urban, more high density. But where I see is that, just like when I was a kid growing up here, that area between Peoria and Yosemite was the downtown. We need to bring that back as the downtown. It's got to be urban, it's got to be high density. Yeah.
You got a question up here,
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, thank you for being here. Quick question. You had made a pretty disturbing social media post about Kylan Lewis, and it was more pertaining to the warrant. Have you seen the warrant, and have you had the opportunity to view the warrant that was unlawfully issued to him?
So 2 things. The case Kylan Lewis, and I think we've had demonstrations before council probably for about the last 8 months. And so there is a process, and that process was adopted in Senate Bill 217 back after the George Floyd riots that the legislature did. They defined exactly the process where we cannot investigate our own case. It has to be done by an outside jurisdiction. That was done. They did that investigation. They did that report. Also took it to a grand jury. In both, they didn't find any fault in the officer. And so, you know.
So that would be a no?
That, I have not seen it, yeah. Whatever documents were in there.
Hasn't seen the warrant.
He hasn't?
No.
Yes.
That's it.
Hi, Mayor.
Are we out of here?
Next week, Mayor Johnson's gonna be in Washington. You know that.
So he doesn't, we got it on camera. We got it on camera.
You know, and you know what they're gonna be talking about,
So,
the Sanctuary City. You also were on the front page of Denver Post about 2 weeks ago. And you and Mayor Johnson are on opposite sides of the fence. You know that.
Right.
Here's the question, and the other thing, the city of Aurora spent about $6,000 to get records from the city of Denver, right? The Cora. Well, I Cora, your Cora. Okay. City didn't want to give me those records. Okay, they denied me. Now, after all this, and that, you know, That was months ago when the city got those records, the city attorney got that.
We don't have them all yet.
You don't have them all?
No, we do not.
What don't you have? Have you
Uh,
seen the list that they asked for?
We received, the last batch we received, they redacted so much of it that they went beyond this statutory guidelines in terms of redacting information. So we've had to make a request to have those redactions removed.
Okay, and I sent you an email, do you remember me?
No, I don't remember. the-
Okay, and I said, enough of that. Sue the city. They owe you those records. Be done with this.
We've offered to go to litigation if they do not comply. So let me tell you what had happened, and then I'm gonna have to end with this time-wise. That Mayor Johnson.
Something very
earlier
interesting just occurred, y'all, and we'll talk about it
asked
after this.
that we take some of my records. I said no. So what he effectively did then, without telling us, and there's no legal requirement for him to tell me. To me, there's an ethical and a moral requirement. Because what I think he did was not only unfair to the people of Aurora, but it was unfair to the people that he sent over here. So what he did was, they were primarily from Venezuela. And so what we know so far is that he created a system where he used nonprofits, and he changed a couple words. We all use nonprofits to deliver services, but he changed a few words in the contract to say, place them in Denver, and then he added a few words, or the surrounding community. We didn't notice it. City council didn't debate it. It went through on the consent calendar, and so that third party, Papagayo, got had a contract with the 3 apartment complexes that have been in the news. And the one in the news, mostly in the news, was the edge of Aurora. And so he didn't tell us. He obviously gave them some resources. He won't tell me what resources he gave them. He got money from FEMA, from the federal government. And then they placed them in those 3 buildings. We've always had problems with habitability concerns with those buildings. In fact, closed down the one building. And it's an out-of-state slumlord from New York that owned the buildings, was happy to take the money. Well, the problem is, in Venezuela it's a failed state. It's criminality is rampant. The role of the police forces in Venezuela is to protect the Maduro regime against its people. And so, about a third of the country's left. So, and there wasn't an adequate vetting process at the border. You could cross the border under the prior policy, get arrested for crossing the border legally, then declare political asylum, and then be released to the country under humanitarian parole. Venezuela, because we don't have diplomatic relations with them, probably wouldn't help anyway. They don't share with us criminal histories, as other countries do when people coming into the United States. And so there wasn't an adequate vetting process. So what we know is whenever you have a concentration
Political lives.
of Venezuelans in one area, sometimes that criminal element will follow
Oh my God.
and superimpose themselves upon them and exploit them. And that's what happened at the end of the war. We didn't know that they were there.
This is a
We
fucking
know,
lie. These are
again,
lies.
you know,
Lies,
and-
lies,
and
lies, lies.
What he was able to do, what Mayor Johnson was able to do, was concentrate the resources on the people that he can. Not even tell us, we're not a city and a county. We don't have human services capability. We don't have those programs or those funding sources. But he didn't even inform our county partners of what he was doing. Yeah.
Are you concerned that when he testifies that it becomes a blame game? And are you prepared for that to tell your side?
So I think, yeah, I thought about that.
Are you prepared?
Because, so when he, first when he reached out to me, because he was being targeted by Governor Abbott from Texas.
He's lying.
What Governor Abbott was doing, he identified about 4 or 5 mayors in the country, and Denver was one of them. Democrat mayors who could put pressure on the Biden administration to change policy.
To stick around after.
So that's what he was
For
doing.
just a quick second.
And so he was sending bus after bus after bus.
No, I didn't.
So I said, you know, I'll tell you what I'll do. When he asked me, I'll meet with Governor Abbott with you, talk about it. I'll go meet with the president, with you, with the White House. He's got to change the policy. Got to do it. And his approach was, no, I don't agree with that. And he did meet with the president, with some other mayors. And his position was, no, the federal government just needs to take over responsibility from Governor Abbott in terms of dispersing it through the country and not allowing Governor Abbott to concentrate on a few cities, on 4 or 5 cities. And so, you know, but I think there were any question that would come about this. I think the questions that they're really going to ask him are really about being a sanctuary city. That he made some statements about that he was going to resist, you know, federal enforcement. And let me just say this: we do not specifically enforce immigration. I mean, that is really, it takes a special designation to do that. We just enforce criminal laws. Those are civil violations. Usually, county sheriffs do civil and criminal. We only do criminal, and we want cooperation from our immigrant communities. And so, if I'm wrong, correct me on this.
There's more.
Is in the back. Is that if in fact there was an instance whereby the federal authorities couldn't do their job because they were blocked, we would intervene in that situation. Not even. So we would intervene there so they could do the job. We're not going to do the job. We're going to cooperate with them as much as we possibly can, which is different from them historically. And so I think he's going to be in. Those mayors are going to answer. Now, if I have some of my ex-members of Congress or members of Congress that I know, that could you sneak in a question about what he did to Aurora? But that's not the. I don't think that's. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, one more question.
We've got a large Venezuelan population. Yeah. The crime organization, then Senator Condos, if you look at apartment house, have these people moved around, or is this?
Come here. I think one thing we did on the edge of Laura is close it for a criminal nuisance, and I'll let the chief discuss that.
And where is the Edgewater? Tell us that.
Yeah, with the individuals from that apartment complex in conjunction with the city, they were moved at various locations throughout the city. Each house or each apartment within there was given $4,000 to relocate. The relocation was not all done again in the same place, because what we didn't want to have is a displacement where we would just see the same problem bounce over and start all again with people being victimized by members of their own community. So that's how it happened. Really, I think if you look at it, I think the city, on the press conference I did last week, the city put in $94,000 to move those people from Edge Lowry. And then I think there was another $360-some thousand that was used to make that location habitable, because the location was so inhabitable. I actually did a press conference in one of the apartments that was there, and as I was doing my press conferences, cockroaches were crawling all over, and that was the neatest apartment in the entire location. So again, no human being should ever be should have ever been placed into that. That was the failure of the entire process, to be very honest with you. People came to this country looking for a better life, and instead they were placed into a place of squalor. They were given absolutely no idea of how to function, no idea of how to work, no idea of how to get processes within the government to work. And that is really the beginning and the end of why that was such a failure. So those individuals were dispersed in multiple locations. The city put in a huge amount of money, unfortunately, because that money could have gone to many other things.
Our new chief.
That money will hopefully be recouped as the litigation process continues with CBZ, the landowners of that property, and hopefully that will all be paid back. But if anything, that is an exact example of what to never do ever again. Because people, I think there's always that fine line, what feels good to the heart. They think it's going to be workable, and it's not workable. That was an absolute failure. People got mistreated, people got victimized, not just the people who resided in that complex, but the people in and around that entire community. The amount of gun violence, the amount of shootings, the amount of issues related to kidnapping, extortion. We have turned the corner on that in the city of Aurora, and I think that's the message now that that we have to talk about. We have turned the corner. We can keep looking back in the past, we can use that as an identifier to make sure it doesn't happen again, but the city of Aurora has turned the corner.
So
I'll stick around and answer questions, but I'm a little over time, so I gotta let staff know. Thank you.
get out of here with this stuff.
Thank you very much for coming.
Here we go.
We haven't signed in, we have a sign sheet out a little bit later, please feel free to do that, we'd like to stay up to, pay, all, meetings for council and mayor.
I was gonna ask the
Really?
question.
You know, we always have your back. Sorry for my email.
Here we go.
1969. Oh, wow.
Okay, I just wanna make sure you get your car okay?
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Someone just said that she appreciated my channel. So it's really cool. Yeah, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. You
No, I was just saying.
Yeah. Who cares? Not afraid of fucking shit. Look at these two jackasses over here. Remember these two Beavis and Butthead? Okay, he's still laughing. He ain't gonna be laughing for long. See how he's smiling? He's gonna get a lashing.
Thank you, thank you. Take care, okay? Thank you.
Beavis and Butthead too.
Mayor, I had another question. You also said it was suicide by a cop.
Right. I said, I speculated.
I'm just going off of
I
what you
speculated
said.
it might be. I said that was one of the options.
You didn't say might.
Well, I think that, look, I mean, I don't think he's gonna go back to prison. He's arrested.
Would you speculate on something like that?
Well, look, I think, you know,